I got a song filled with shit for the strong-willed. When the world gives you a ball deal, set you off till you scream, piss off, screw you when it talks to you like you don't belong or tells you you're in the wrong field. Knock, knock, let the devil in. Shotgun, pit, pellets in the felt bin. Cock, fuck around and catch a hot one. It's evident I'm not done. Bit venomous, the thoughts spun like a web and you just caught in them. Wicked, I get all high when I think I smell the scent of elephant. The new hell, I make a lure, screw it, to hell with it. I went through hell with accelerants and blew up myself again. Volkswagen, tailspin. Bucket matches my pale skin. Held again, still feel like a hubcap. And mud flat, big strangler attack. So this ain't gonna feel like a love tap. Eat painkiller pills for the blood track, like what the names of the deal. Then a cup patch through the car in the reverse of the Indian nut crash in India. The back that just mangled, steal my Mustang. Ate shit till I can't taste it. Chased it with stray liquor, then baked it, and then drank till I faint and awake. The head ache, and I take anything in rectangular shape that I wait. To face the demons I'm bonded to, cause they're chasing me, but I'm part of you, so escaping me is impossible. I latch on to you like a knock, knock, let the devil in. Shotgun, pit, pellets in the felt bin. Cock, fuck around and catch a hot one. It's evident I'm not done. Bit venomous, the thoughts spun like a web and you just caught in them. I said knock, knock, let the devil in. Shotgun, pit, pellets in the felt bin. Cock, fuck around and catch a hot one. It's evident I'm not done. Bit venomous, the thoughts spun like a web and you just caught in them. I said knock, knock, let the devil in. Alien, alien, phone home. Ain't no telling when the chokehold on this game will end. The loco became a symbiote, so my fangs are in your throat. Oh, you're spitting with my cheek brain of the grill with a punch match, much as my rear fender assassin. Soon be a combination of an actual kamikaze and Gandhi. Translation, I will probably kill us both when I end up back in India. You ain't gonna be able to tell what the fuck's happening till I can't taste it. Chased it with stray liquor, then baked it, and then drank till I faint and awake. The head ache, and I take anything in rectangular shape that I wait. To face the demons I'm bonded to, cause they're chasing me, but I'm part of you, so escaping me is impossible. I latch on to you like a Dr. Dre said, hell yeah, and I got a stamp like a postcard, what the mailman. And I know they're gonna hate, but I don't care. I barely can wait to hit him with the snare in the face, where in the face this fucking world better prepare to get laced. Because knock, knock, let the devil in. Shotgun, pit, pellets in the felt bin. Cock, fuck around and catch a hot one. It's evident I'm not done. Bit venomous, the thoughts spun like a web and you just caught in them. I said knock, knock, let the devil in. Shotgun, pit, pellets in the felt bin. Cock, fuck around and catch a hot one. It's evident I'm not done. Bit venomous, the thoughts spun like a web and you just caught in them.
The following program is rated parental guidance. It may contain scenes depicting geekery, toys, photography, toy photography, photography geeks, dad jokes, dad bods, and bad words. The presence of an adult is highly recommended. Not.
From the basement of Adonis Bar in Quezon City, this is GeekClicks. With your host, Chris Lina. And special guest, GeekClicks.
All right. Hi. Hello, Mabuhay. This is Chris Lina, and welcome to GeekClicks. This is a very late night for a few of you, but well, thank you for staying. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you're wondering why I'm full English tonight, because our guest is, well, uh, He's from New York, and you're gonna get to, well, you've seen the poster, so you're gonna get to know him later on. But before that, I'd like to greet everyone who's currently watching. We have 12,000 viewers. All geeks are still alive. I'm assuming some of them are still shooting their photos. For Chester Minoru, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Jordan Sabado. Thank you for watching. And Giancarlo, thank you so much for tuning in. Arnold Dolva, always present. Thank you so much. Gabo Vitales, thanks. We're we're a lot. Power P or Perry Chua. There you go. These are. I know that you guys are a fan of our guests' work, so we'll see. The introduction, yeah, I still can't get over the introduction. Um, I really na-miss kong Geek Clicks. Yeah, we miss you too, man. Thank you for dropping by. Sean is here. Ottoman, Diego, yes, Avicena is also watching. I know it's late right now from Avi's place in Malaysia. You're 1 hour ahead, right? So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Christian Cabrera. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy this episode. Dustin, good evening. GeekClicks Live. Yes, if you are watching this, thank you, Juniko, all the way from Japan. GeekClicks Live. Hashtag GeekClicks Live. If you're gonna watch this on replay, please hashtag GeekClicks replay because that helps us out. And also, just a question of the day. We're interested to know if you do you play sports? What sports do you play? Or what do you compete in something? If you're good at chess, let us know on the comment section because we're interested. The reason why, and hello from down under, Akira Jo's watching, Paolo Rodriguez and Mark also. So the reason why I brought it up because we have participated. The Philippines has participated in the toy pick community. Jordan Sabado says volleyball, football. Oh, nice. Let me know what's your position, Akira. Christian is basketball. Nice. The Philippines basketball is a big thing, and again, the toy pick community is holding the Toy Picks Olympics, right? In line with the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, and we have participated. So I'm a bit biased. Sorry for our international audience, but oh, Perry Chu was cycling. Nice, I love it. So badminton, badminton. All right, you're good in badminton. That's a nice one. But yeah, the reason why is the toy pick. We have participated in the toy pick community. And I have posted the link for our basketball. Hopefully, we get to win. We're running at 1464 right now. The competition is very very tight, and we have or the toy pick community just posted the liking session for the swimming. There you go. So let's see. But yeah, I also play football. That's where me and my girlfriend met in our team. But yes, there's a reason for that. Number 9 in Akira Jo 9. I played as a striker. Wow. So you must have been fast. I can't say that you're fast right now because of reasons of COVID stuff. But I love it. Thank you so much, Akira Jo. I l- I like that. But yes, I have posted the links on the comment section. Let us know. Pag Christian is gonna unfollow the group if he is if we are to lose. I'm just kidding. But yeah, thank you so much for your support. Um, no, but it's all good competition, right? And that's the purpose of Olympics. Nino, please PM me or critic me later on. We're gonna ask our guest to give his insight on a few pictures later on. It's our way of promoting a very good, I don't know, an avenue for us to improve on when it comes to our craft, photography. I know it's mainly geek clicks and our heart is toy photography, but we're gonna welcome anyone. So let us know. The following or starting tomorrow is what we call Buwan ng Wika, or the in our for our English, what they call this, for our English or non Filipino speaking audience. Tomorrow's Starting tomorrow, the whole month of August is the language month for us. So mainly all guests are Filipino, right? Because they speak that way. But I made the posts English still, so at least it can reach the audience. But yeah, mostly Filipinos, or actually all Filipinos, all Filipino. What do you call this? Guests starting August 1, and August 29 is Pat Cinco, one of our most awaited guests later, on the show rather. But yes, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm still waiting for Nino's critic me, but now I'm gonna introduce our guest. You know him in the articulated comic book art or ACBA community as what do you call this, as the Black Symbiote, and we're gonna get to know his workflow on how he creates these masterpieces, how he creates articulated comic book art. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from New York, let's all welcome Diego Carlo, or Black Symbiote. Good evening or good morning, man.
Morning. How's everybody
Good
doing?
morning. Everyone's waiting for this. Still awake. Even our seniors are awake at this moment. Not gonna name names. But yeah, our people are still
Thanks for waiting. Thanks for waiting.
are still anticipating this episode. But yes, actually, you have a great collection at the back. Let's see. Yeah, you have a great collection at the back. I know that
Pretty
you
good
took
things.
time to take a look at that, not on the other sides, of course.
Right. It's a little messy around there, but whatever. I didn't have that much time. It's between setting up, doing shots, fixing your room, and all. It's a lot, man. It's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, and I'm sure that our audience can relate when it comes to the setup, clean up. Some of them don't even clean up, and they use the same setup for other shots.
And that, yeah, because at the same time, it's like, you don't clean up for too long. You're not going to do any other setups. You got to clean up
That's
after a
true.
while. It's a frustrating process, but all worth it in the end.
Definitely, yeah. And that's actually the process that we're gonna go through later on. We're gonna ask how you set up your work later. We have a few shots that we'd want to get to know more of. But first, hi from Dustin, hi from Akira. They're all watching.
Brother,
Harry says
my
hi.
brothers, how's everybody doing? Hello, hello.
Yeah,
Nice to
they're
see
all waiting
everybody
for
here. Yeah, I don't
Toby
post too
waiting.
many pictures of myself. It's private.
Well, we're still happy that you're here. We have this chance to ask you live things that we'd want to ask, and sometimes that's the thing. Things get lost in translation when it comes to online text, right? Chat,
Absolutely.
right? So later, we're gonna ask you to critique or ask your feedback on a few shots, because a few people have sent their photos, toy photos. Hopefully, you can share your insight in them, what you
Absolutely.
like and what towards the end, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you so much, and people are looking forward to it. Alan Parma, by the
Hello,
way,
Jordan.
thank you. He's the one behind, or he's the Late Toy Show on Instagram, and also behind
Yeah, Alan
the
Parma. I know Alan. Alan's.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Alan's. I'm a big fan of a
Wow.
lot of the guys that's watching right now. So just so you
Oh,
know, it's reciprocated.
nice. But yeah, he's the one who also helped me with the intro session here, or intro video
Awesome.
later. Yep. So shout out to Alan
Talented guy,
Parma.
man. Talented guy.
Yeah, very very talented guy. I think the most tedious task
Yes,
for all
Paulo.
toy, yeah, the
Paulo.
cleanup. Yeah, exactly. And setup, I would say setup and cleanup, right? Setup,
Yes.
like the falling
It's
figures.
it's probably what gets you to not do a setup every now and then. You think about the work that has to go into it. You're like, you know what? I'll just take a vanilla something. Just guy pose there regular, because some of these setups are very tedious, man. Like, especially when
Very
you're trying to go all tangible all the time. Like, I mean, for
true.
me, my biggest focal point, or
Hmm.
the thing I strive the most, is to stay tangible. Mainly because I don't really like using editing programs. It's not what's fun to me. It's not the fun. I know a lot of
Hmm.
artists, they'll edit things that they don't even need to edit, because that they just enjoy the process, and that's cool. But that's not something for me. So a lot of the times, especially like removing a stand or lighting up an effect, it's really tedious work to be able to get it all tangible. And that's what gets me. That sometimes prevents me from doing certain setups. Like some people, so should I not just do the setup? Well, I won't do it if I can't pull it off tangibly. But that's just me, and I'm sometimes you get a little too involved with being a purist, and then you end up getting stuck with that, and that's what works for you. Certain people that do the editing stuff, man, they come out with some. You got Trevor Williams, Matthew Cohen, Perry Chua, who's watching now. I've seen him do that photo stacking. I mean, you wouldn't even know anything is edited. It's beautiful work, and it's something that I've learned to really appreciate over the time because these artists are able to be very consistent because of it, and that's a talent within itself.
True, I agree, right? And it's really how you appreciate the art of toy photography.
Right.
It's still under that umbrella, right? But tonight our focus. I know that Christian Cabrera, who commented, he's heavy on editing, because he's one of the he is an official Hot Toys Cos Baby photographer, so he's heavy on editing. So anyway, he's cracking a joke that he left the group because. But
and that's the thing. Like, there's no need to leave a group or something over something like that. I mean, people have a wrong image of ACBA, or had for a very long time. I think we're doing a really good job of being diverse in every single medium in this toy photography. Especially as of the past 5 years, really, we've been very, lenient towards it. And there's still a big misconception that, ACBA won't feature. Man, we feature a lot of edited stuff, and it's good. It's just when it looks bad, it won't be featured. That's it. I mean,
exactly.
You got to realize that when you come into that group or any other group that's, affiliated with ACBA, you're submitting to be. You're submitting to becoming a student immediately. Because people are going to tell you, yo, this could be better, this could be, and it's nothing malicious, but
true.
It takes a different kind of character to be able to withstand a lot of constructive criticism, because constructive criticism can be viewed, everything is an opinion, really, right? So
exactly,
sometimes you think that you're giving somebody, and they're just like, you know what, dude, I'm good. I like the way my stuff came out. And you're like, oh, no doubt, sorry, and you keep it moving. But some people take it a lot more personally, and they've bumped heads with people that never really needed to bump heads with. It's toy photography, man. We're just playing with toys.
Exactly, right? I mean, it's already a way for you to escape the stress of life while you stress yourself with the thing that gives you fun, right? And speaking of that, from my interview, a few weeks ago, or actually a few months ago, Mark Steven Santos mentioned about withstanding and how you take that criticism. Because you raised a great point when it comes to that. Now it's already we're already.
Yeah, and I'll admit, man. I mean, being from I would love to go on record now of letting people know that being from New York, you're very subjective to criticism on a regular basis, man. So it's like you have a lot. We have really tough skin out here, man. So sometimes I can come off very aggressive, and it was never my intention. I have very good intentions most of the time, just every now and then, like you said, the language gets lost in translation. And I'm actually I'm from Brazil originally. I came here when I was 3 years old, so I know the difference between how warm Brazilians are. You go to Brazil and people, they'll talk to you. And my mom, currently my mom's actually visiting me, and she's like, "Man, you don't talk to people." I was like, "I'm cold like that, we just keep it moving. I don't know you, and we just keep it moving, But we're very expressive and opinionated, so it could get lost in translation. But again, it's all good. It's all good intentions.
True. Right. I mean, different cultures, right? That's
Right,
mainly it, right? Different
right,
cultures, different strokes, right? But
right,
this, at least we have this hobby to unite us. I'm really
right.
enjoying
And
our
it's a
talk
hell of a hot
tonight.
man. It's become so big worldwide that
Yeah, that is
it's a
true.
phenomenon, man. It's really crazy. And the internet really helps everything. Obviously, these streams, and I mean,
Mm.
I can't even imagine. You said like, a good amount of people were watching. I said, wow, that many people are going to be watching me. It's all a lot to take in. I've never been the type of, as you see, I don't post pictures of myself on Facebook or on Instagram. It's just
Hmm.
I'm a very private person because of, I'll never forget that Eminem line. I can't take a shit in the bathroom without someone standing by it, because he's so famous. It's
Yeah,
Simon Hill. I mean, Simon Hill's so famous. Everybody knows him, and
true.
it's great, but at the same, it's a little intimidating.
That is true, and actually, it was a great mind opener for most of the watchers who haven't had the chance to interact with Simon Hill, because he went on the show a few weeks back, right? So we
Right.
got to know him on a level and how his mindset works. So
Process.
we got, yeah, the process. So meaning, at least now, that's also the part of the reason why we get this interviews, so that we know the mindset of the person, so that next time we read a comment from that person, especially from Akira Joe, he's one of the
Right, right,
savages.
right.
Right.
Akira can be really brutal sometimes, man.
Exactly.
I'll read Akira's comment. I'll be like, "Damn, kid, you kind of ate him alive on that one." But it is what it is. Is the dude? That dude is passionate, man, and it's a passion.
Exactly.
It's a fire in you. Simon is a very polite dude, man. I've told him, yo, you're too polite. And that's why a lot of people love him.
Yeah, true.
The guy might be the most famous man in ACBA because of his
Mm.
interactions with people, his friendliness. He's a very inviting, warm person. Yet
Mm.
he could be very raunchy. His humor is,
Yeah, true.
like, I mean, here in
There.
America, we're very like, what the hell? But it's him.
True.
You just got to accept people for who they are. Like some people are
Exactly.
just the way they are, and that's it.
Yeah, true. Comment from Jordan says, "I'm trying to my best to be flexible and both tangible and doing some photo manipulation."
Yeah, I just
And
read
that's what he
myself.
enjoys.
Jordan, do your thing, man. Whatever makes you happy, bro. As long as
Yeah,
it's like,
true.
as long as some followers start pouring in, and that's it. That's all
True.
you need, man. Just keep growing.
Yeah, yeah, true. You can't grow if you don't accept criticism. Yeah.
Matt, my man, Matt. Let me tell you,
Matt is
Matt
watching.
McDougal, the grind wouldn't work without this man. This man is a hard-working man. He's the
Hmm.
behind-the-scenes guy. I mean, a lot of people,
Yeah,
they'll give
true.
credit to the main admins and all, but there's a lot of behind-the-scenes guys that they make the grind work. They make ACBA work.
Yeah, true.
Matt McDougal is a huge part. Casey Kal-El, Evans, Adam Smith, Akira is one of the admins there as well. Um, it slips my mind a little
True.
bit, right? But
True.
these guys are very important to the team.
True.
Stephen Court Smith, a lot of these guys they do a lot of work in there. Seth.
Mm.
These guys are all working all the time, and even if you got to push your own admin team, they always
Mm.
surprise me, man. Like it's really crazy. Matt, I appreciate you watching, bro.
True. Agree.
I don't want to keep
And as long
rambling.
that's fine. I mean, because these people keep the group alive, and
Right.
uh, right. And actually, just a big, or I'll introduce that because I kind of forgot that getting into this and getting to the Toy Olympics. Shout out to the local toy community, Perry, Rafi, and Ryan. These three are one of the active ones in our Philippine toy photography group, right?
Right.
So these people are very, very, what do you call this? Are very active in keeping the passion
Big fan of
alive,
these
and
guys. Big fan of these guys
yeah.
myself.
So yeah. But yeah, I just like to go back to what you mentioned about the people that keep the hobby alive, that keeps the hobby alive by bringing comments, posting pictures, engaging others, right?
Right.
Answering questions. That's really
Right.
really. something that we respect. And speaking of
Right.
respect, the utmost respect for both purist and non-purist toy photographers, right? If you're going tangible, it's still, I mean, it's his art, right? And
Yeah,
it's
absolutely,
subjective.
man. It's
True.
the beauty of the thing that I love the most about this is that these are characters that I grew up with these characters, and you watch them. What are you gonna do? You could just watch them. You could watch the same movie over and over and over again, right? But now that you own these toys, they're in your hand, dude. You have the power to control. You can make art. You can make comic panels. I mean, look at Brandon Detchler. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly.
Hmm.
The man creates, like, he literally remakes Batman animated series episodes.
Right.
Like, if you grew up with that, I'm always blown away by this kid's work, bro. He's just so great. It's some of
Agree.
these guys are just, like you said, and that's a purist right there. This is a man who can edit that doesn't, because he likes to
True.
be pure about the art. Same thing with
Uh-huh.
Simon Hill, Casey Evans, whatever. But then you got guys like Mark Steven Santos, who the work is tremendous, and he edits, but the guy has tremendous work.
True.
Recently he did like a dive shot that I was like, damn, bro, that looks really real, So whatever gets you the picture that you're looking for. I think it's just beautiful to have the control over copyrighted characters, like these are not our characters, and yet we're able to use them to make art, and we're not getting sued for it or anything, If anything, we get rewarded for it.
Actually, yeah, you raise a good point there that these are characters that you can now have in the palm of your hands and manipulate in whatever form you like, tangible or non-tangible, right?
Right.
And yes, Mark Steven Santos is the one also who shot this, well, similar concept
Right.
in the swimming department of Toy Pix community or Toy Pix Olympics. So just a shout out to that
Yeah.
guy.
I
But
seen that picture actually. I think I liked it. Pretty sure I
um,
like him that. I really
Chester's
enjoyed those. Yeah,
true.
believe me, it's
He
a
loves the
gift and
beard.
a curse. The beard. Sorry, I read the comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
the beard is a gift and a curse, man. It's nice, but a lot of maintenance. But
a
no,
lot
but
of
Mark,
maintenance.
going back to Mark's picture, it's a very well done photo. I'm very
True.
I enjoy his work a lot.
All right. So Akira says he was trying to be polite. You try, but anyway, just kidding. Akira is a good man.
He's a
We
very
got
good
to
man.
know him well.
I'm a huge fan of his, man. The
Me
work
too.
is,
Yeah.
is second to
I,
none, man. He has his own
true.
style. You know when it's him that he posts. I think that's what
Yeah.
most
True.
artists should. I think if there's a goal in this photography thing, this toy photography thing, is to be able to know for a fact when you post, people know it's you.
Mm,
I think that's a big thing in this. Whenever a big name posts, usually it's him because of the style, because of what he brings to the table and all that. So I think if anybody should strive for a goal, it shouldn't be to be all tan or this or that. It should just be to have your own style and be recognizable.
mhm. Nice. I love that. So I guess I have the quote of the day tonight. The best goal here in our craft is to have your own style or a distinct style that people would recognize you immediately when
Be you,
they see a picture, right?
be you, and
Being
show it,
you, being you.
show it.
I love
Right.
it.
But
I
it's also
love it.
good to, if you look, man, everybody has like little things that insight is great. That's all I say, like the whole constructive criticism is really insight. And yet there is a way to do it. You don't just go in, hey, your photo looks like crap, obviously, but
True. Yeah.
you really, what's up, Brian? So you really, you just gotta be happy with it. That's it. Just find your
True.
medium. Find what suits you. And if somebody wants to give you an insight, just take it as a compliment that somebody's looking at your work and thinking that
Yeah.
you could do something better with it, or you could be, that you have potential.
Agree.
In their eyes.
Actually.
I mean, I'm nobody, right? But at the same time, I think you have potential. I think
Mhm.
everybody watching the show has their own potential. So it's just a matter of like having that eye and really going for it.
Yeah, agree. Just a side comment. We're gonna fear the beard.
It's been a lot longer. This is actually like the third time I'm growing it. I'm like six
Wow.
months. I'm like 6 months in. I've had it like down to like right here before, but yeah,
Wow.
I'm going for that same thing. Maybe in the next session it'll be like down to here.
Uh, nice. But all right, so let's go now to. I know it's already halfway through, but let's go now to my first question. What's the story behind the black symbiote, or why is it black symbiote? We know it's leaning to Venom. That's
Right.
what you're wearing right now. But
Venom,
yeah, tell us more.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I am a huge Spider-Man fan. Huge.
Hmm.
I mean, it's my favorite character. The only thing is that once I think it was very intriguing to see. So first of all, the costume is cool. The black symbiote
Hmm.
costume, and
Ah.
to see what happens to him throughout
Mhm.
that process, and to really appreciate what the character Peter Parker brings to the table. There's hardly people like that on the planet. Peter Parker, Steve
Mhm.
Rogers. Most people are more like Eddie Brock. It's more realistic to be an anti-hero, in my opinion, because we can't be that perfect all the time. I mean, who really would get superpowers and do all good? I mean, in your eyes, it'd probably be all good, right?
Mhm.
But in the end of the day, it's not really all good. So the story behind Black Symbiote is that I'd like to be like Spider-Man, but I'm more like realistically like a little more of a rugged version of Spider-Man, you know?
Mhm.
And that's the
Mm.
Black Symbiote, and the Black Symbiote consumes him. So
I see.
I've always thought that was like amazing.
Love it. Jordan or Sam Chua agrees. Well, I think this is from the previous point that we mentioned earlier. We don't have enough testosterone to grow a beard like that. I'm just cutting mine, so I think I
Oh
can. I
man, I
can.
tell you, it's just genes, bro. That's it. I'm a hairy guy.
uh, there's a
Steven.
comment from Steven. Venom rocks, says Sam Chua. All right.
Absolutely. And the recent run from
Mm.
I'm sorry, not Hickman. I forget who wrote it actually. This whole King in Black. Man, I
Mm.
recently read that. Wow. Wow. I mean, they finally made Venom a real
Mm.
mainstream hero now,
Yeah, true.
He's kind of not even an
Yeah,
anti-hero anymore, but whatever. I love the
agree.
story. It was great.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Either
to
way, right?
customize my Venom with some wings and stuff.
Agree. Now, having said that, well, there's a story behind the likeness or you liking Spider-Man altogether. But when did you start shooting, and when did you start collecting?
So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for somebody named Greg Chikowski.
Hmm.
He's a old school ACBA guy, like one of the original members, and
Hmm.
I actually live close to him. And I'm a barber,
Ah.
and
Mm.
I cut his hair. A friend of mine, I took a friend of mine who was a barber to my house, and I
Ah.
started. First of all, I've always loved toys ever since I was a kid. I mean, I love toys, and my mom recently, of like maybe 7 years back, sold all my stuff without my permission. So,
Mm.
upset, I went on eBay and I started buying things. And, I was getting raped because who doesn't get
Mm.
raped on eBay, right?
Hmm.
So I was paying absurd prices. And one day I brought a friend over to show him my collection, which was mediocre at best.
Uh-huh.
And he wasn't impressed. And I was like, damn, like, what's up? You don't think it's dope? He's like, nah, it's just I know somebody who has it way better. And, this, and that. So
Oh.
he introduced me to Greg. And I went to
Uh-huh.
Greg's house, and man, like you see how this setup is. I mean, these things they all light up. If I
Hmm.
hope maybe see like my shelves all
Whoa.
light up, like so.
Nice.
Greg has he calls it the figure realm, and I
Mm.
basically emulated that, and that's how I started getting into collecting because then he added me to all the Facebook groups, including ACBA, and that's when
Uh-huh.
I started like seeing like people doing things that I could do tangibly. Maybe it looked like real comic panels and stuff. I was like, yo, this is the dopest shit I've ever seen. So, let me turn this. I don't want it to be too bright back there.
Sure.
But
True. Mm.
I've always had an eye for photography. I understand what the lens. I understand it. There is a thing behind photography. If you understand how your eyes work, that's how lenses work, you know? So it's really a matter of like that and knowing where to angle things, playing with angles and stuff, you know, and I was lucky enough to, you know, look at things. I studied ACBA for about a year before I posted my first shot. And then I looked at C-sides, you know, there's shots that, you know, you looked at and you're like, how? There's no how did he do this? And then you look and, you know, then you see guys like Simon Hill doing the glass technique and, you know, these crazy things. And you're like, dude, I could do this, you know, like, why not? Let me try this.
Nice.
And then you get into it, you start shooting your favorite characters. And like I said, for me, I'm a control freak. So, you know, for me to be able to control my favorite characters and you know, it's just, and right now it's just the crazy. Donnie Cates, there you go. Brian Carter always saves me with all this stuff. But yeah, Donnie Cates, it's a shame Donnie Cates is leaving the Venom run because he made it into the best thing ever. But going back to what I was saying, you know, right now being a toy collector is just insane because forget, you know, not only do you have Hasbro, Mezco, Figure Arts competing at a high level with each other, but now you got people 3D printing things. And I mean, like, for example, you got this guy, Bendy Webbs, or Joey Juan 12 on Instagram. Arcade Troopers, who made the Proton Cannon. I mean, man, I tell you, you guys did a thing with Simon where you said, where's his favorite figure? And I made sure to pull mine out, you know, and this is the Mayfex Spider-Man, but with Bendy Webbs from Instagram's Webs and Juan 12's McFarlane style head. I mean, dude, you know, like, this is, to me, this is, oh my God. Like, I have shirts that look like this, you know, like, this is crazy. Like, how are we living right now? And this is real.
True, right?
You know, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing time to be alive, to be a toy collector.
Yeah, it's the toy community or the toy progression has come a long way, right? Now, focusing on your work, says Gabo, nothing escapes the eye of Diego Carlo.
Yeah, sometimes being my own critic is a pain because I'll take 50,000 shots and, you know, something that people wouldn't even notice. I'm like, no, it has to be like this. That's the control freak.
See. Right. Well, I'll ask something about that later in a bit. But Mark Stephen says, I like the custom Venom that you did. That Sergio Santos did.
Yeah, Sergio's another one of my favorite artists. You can't even say the word favorite at this point because there's so many that you enjoy their work. You know, I mean, if I really be honest, the people that I'm following, they're all my favorite. You know, I follow them for a reason.
Yeah, most people who watch or actually just listen to the show, right? They often play around and then shoot at the same time. They use this as background noise so that they fire up the passion at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, going back to that, you being your own best or your own worst or best critic, when would you say a shot is enough? Right? Like sometimes you can take 1,000,000 shots of a figure or a pose or a scene. When would you say that it's good enough for you to post? Because
let me try to make this as quick as possible.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, because you did mention about you taking about a year to study ACBA before you post your first one, right? So that's very interesting. So yeah, is that something that you have personally that you?
I'm looking not to get critiqued. Put it like that. Like when I'm doing my shots, I'm looking for everything wrong with it. I pick my shots apart, dude. Like it's to the point where sometimes I get sick of I don't like my shots anymore because I'll just pick them apart, man. I've gone with some shots that I haven't posted because it just wasn't good enough in my opinion. I really pick my shots apart because I don't want anybody to have any feedback from me, to be honest. But, you know, you're looking for a perfect shot. I'm looking for a perfect shot every time. I think the biggest example I could give is my X-Men team shot my most recent one that I did. I don't think there's any flaws in that picture, man. Like I took that. I sent, you know, sometimes when when I want something to be really perfect, I'll hit up people that I look up to, Michael Wisman, Brandon himself, and I'll tell them, yo, nitpick me, like anything, like what's wrong with this shot? And whatever they say, I'll take it into consideration and I'll try to adjust something on it. I haven't really done much of that like I did in the beginning because I'm a lot more confident with my own critique, you know, with my own picking apart. So really, I pick my shots apart like bad.
All right, I see. So does it happen that, well, you take a shot and just after 5 shots, it's perfect? Does that happen to
Yes.
you as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could say recently I have a Batmobile shot that I did in a cave, and like the setup was up there for a minute already because you know I'll try my best to recycle setups, you know, like and I tell people all the time, don't, you know, use the same setup. Try to do different angles so it doesn't look like the exact same setup, but try to recycle them. So the shot I'm talking about is a Batmobile shot, and they're Jada toys, so nothing to pose really. You know, I just put them there, vanilla. You know, I threw some colors in, and it took me about an hour to do. A lot of shots are quick now for me, you know, mainly because I'm avoiding the bigger shots because, you know, they take too much work. But when I do a big setup, man, I've had setups sit there for 2 months, just sitting there.
Oh,
because
nice.
I'm lazy. I don't feel like, you know, I know the work that I have to put in. I need a lot of motivation for some of the bigger shots that I do. The bigger shots that I do take quite a while. What I'll do most of the time is I'll have a big shot set up in the room here, and then I have a lot of space in my living room. So because it's here for so long and I'm not going to break it down, I'll set up something else in the living room, something quick just to get my, you know, get my fix.
Yeah,
my
gotcha.
fix.
Your plastic crack fix.
Exactly.
I love it. All right. So Akira says, I agree. I do that too. Most of the time, I have to redo the shot. If it doesn't work out, then leave it out.
For Akira with his light painting, man. I've light painted and I've been very successful at it. But listen, man, it's a job. So, and I know a lot of the artists do that. The low lighting stuff, you know, it's a job, man. Like you got to really like have every light set up. You know, this photography thing is all real lighting, man. It's if you can understand lighting and the you know the f-stops and all that, you can really do something with your cameras.
Exactly. And just to quote Akira from his episode way back, if it's not good enough for you, don't post it.
I mean, that's I've scrapped a lot of things, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. It's, you know, and sometimes it'll make you not want to shoot for a while too. You need that break. Yeah. I'll be honest, man.
Exactly.
Like, there's most of these setups I take a lot of breaks. You gotta. Because
right?
if not, you're gonna destroy this stuff.
True. MJ is one of the people that I've been giving tips
Feedback.
because I learn a lot, right? Sleep on it, right? I've learned. I think I heard this from one of the episodes. I can't remember who mentioned that, but just sleep on it. Sometimes the idea would come back to you the morning after, right?
I've slept on it multiple nights.
So Perry says, kudos to you guys. Sometimes after 2 to 3 hours of my shots are trash.
It happens, man. It happens to the best of us.
True. Toby, these days takes me about 7 shots to be satisfied. After a while, I have to reshoot it. Suddenly, I feel I can do better, right? So it's a process, right? I guess we can all agree it's a process.
Absolutely.
Now we're interested to get to see or get to know the story behind a few of your work, and one of them is very iconic. Let me show you this one. Tell us more about this shot. Let's go now into your work.
Oh wow, okay.
What was the concept behind it? But tell us more, please. Yeah.
Well, you know, I seen first off, shout out to Spencer. That's one of my. Sorry, I missed you before. Spencer Cole, 21st Century Cole. He actually bought this set, and I'm sure Todd Ortiz bought it first, but I didn't. You know, I look at the ACBA guys. You know, I'm watching their stuff, and not that Todd's ACBA, but he doesn't do pictures. He does more like the podcasts and stuff. So I saw the setup that Spencer did, and I was like, man, where'd you get the Iron Man armory, right? And he gave me the link, and it was cheap, so I bought like 4 of them. And then I've always wanted to do an Iron Man, like Hall of Armor type of thing. But like I don't know if you noticed, I don't really shoot a lot of movie stuff. And even though there are some movie figures in there, because I didn't have enough, my modular Iron Man still hasn't came in from Big Bad Toy Store, so I had to throw in some movie figures in there. This is a more comic style shot, and that's what I tend to go for mostly because I like the comic book stuff. It's more color, it's more saturated. It's what my eye likes, and that's why I go for it. If I were to go for more of a movie feel, I would have to drop my saturation a bit, and I don't like doing that. I like the saturated stuff, as you can see, pops. And I'm trying my best to incorporate cutouts more in everything because it's one of the fundamentals of ACBA. So like it's what separates it. It's what used to separate ACBA mostly from other toy mediums or toy things. So yeah, the classic Iron Man is really nice. That's the Mesco one. I believe it's the best looking one out there. I don't have the modular one in hand. I do really like it. Yeah, but this one right here is really nice. But going back to the cutouts, mind you, back in the background there's the proton cannon made by Arcade Troopers. I think that's it slips my mind exactly. Some of these handles are hard to remember. But the cutout aspect is what I'm trying to really add to it. And I always try to make the speech bubble come right out of their mouth instead of like their shoulder or like anything like that. And I don't know if you guys, everybody that has one of these suited Marvel Legends knows that the jacket is like super stiff and the tie doesn't really. So if I could get just a slight little motion look from it, I know that people are gonna be like, yo, looks like he's about to take his jacket off. Like, it looks trying to make it look real, like he's about to move. That's really what I try to go for with some of these shots.
Yeah, agree. And here's a question. How long does it take you to set up these heavy shots?
I'll be honest, that's actually one of the quickest things I do now. So if I were to say my first prop shot, oh my God, man, this took me like 3 weeks. I think my first one was the kitchen set with Peter Parker and Mary Jane. And I remember hitting up Michael Wisman like 1,000 times, like, how about now? How about now? How about now? And that's when I really got the concept down that, you really got to magnify your camera. They got the magnifying button. So when you press that magnifier, go from the bottom corner all the way through every single thing. So that like if your newspaper is flipped a certain way, that Daily Bugle, when you want to flip it so that you can see the word Daily Bugle, you want to show it off as much as possible. And you can use every single inch of the frame to be able to do that. It's just a matter of placement. And the only way to do that or to really like get the prop stuff to look right is if you magnify stuff. Because if you're just looking at it through the lens, or if you're going back and forth with your camera and your computer, it'll take forever, man. You're not going to get the right shot, You got to really like those. But like I said, the initially those prop shots used to take me a long time. Initially. Now, man, I could take, initially, I mean, I've done a few of those. I've done like a good 8 or 9 of those prop shots. I love those shots, man. Some of them look a little repetitive, but I don't care. I love those. I religiously buy props. I spend more money on props than I do action figures easily. Dioramas and props, easily spend more money on that than action figures. So, gotcha. I'm constantly upgrading that stuff. And now, I'll do that, one of those setups in like 2 hours, honestly. The lighting, I know exactly where to hit the light, so.
True. And they bring life. They add the small details. I'm also a fan of props and how they're being used. Now, going back to what we were discussing offline earlier, there's a question that's related to that. Have you ever tried building your own diorama? I've seen your pile.
That I really, really want to get into. Because buying them, it's very expensive. And listen, I'm a barber, so I have a very, very steady hand. So I very much believe that I can make dioramas. It's just a matter of getting used to the process. I mean, I've seen people build dioramas, so I know how to. It's just a matter of, you have to like get your hands, use the muscle memory. You have to kind of get used to doing it. I'm in that stage pretty much. So I want to start building my own dioramas, but soon enough you'll see me. I'm very much planning on it. So I think soon enough I will be. But yeah,
Right.
What was the previous question? I'm sorry, we ended up answering Mark Stevens.
Yeah, actually, that's just
That was it, right?
that's just mainly it. That was it. Because
Gotcha.
we were discussing that offline. You have your pile of dioramas on the left, on your left.
Yeah,
Right?
I got a lot of stuff. This Crashbox guy, he's making money right now, man. Between all the Mythic Legion guys buying all his, Mythic Legion stuff, and now the Sector, Alien Space Bait. I mean, I've spent over $1,000 with the guy, and this whole toy, man. Listen, the market is endless right now, endless, because everybody's looking for something. It's it's mind blowing what the market has become since the beginning of the whole thing, which I wasn't around for, but I've seen it. I look back at old Facebook posts, and you see how much it's evolved since like 2009, maybe even you could even say the early 2000s, since the first Marvel Legends and stuff. The amount of articulation and the it's just tremendous right now. The 3D printing is tremendous.
Yeah, true. Skills have elevated way up than way back, right? Now, two-part question. A two-part question. First, your creative process. Like, how do you conceptualize a shot? Let me show you one first. So we just have a better overview of that. This is one of the first ones.
That's my first shot ever.
True. For me, I love it. But when it comes to creating your shots, right? Like from scratch, or do you have a reference? How do you create, or do you have a reference? Do you go to pictures? What's your process when it comes to from scratch? Yeah.
For me, there's multiple ways for me to get my creativity going. I think anyone who has read comic books is gonna have basic knowledge of what should look cool, or what like what people are looking for overall in terms of all of that. But I think mainly it's what I'm going through in life. And so, for example, I could just be posing something and just love the pose so much and love the figure so much, and I'm like, look, I got to take a picture of this right now. But then there's times where I have certain things in my mind right now that certain Sandman shots, certain things that I'm like, I know what I'd have to do, but again, it's a big setup. So I know it's going to require a lot. And for me to really go into it, I need a lot of dedication. And sometimes I don't have that. I don't have that time. I'm working, I'm doing other things. So I don't have the time to dedicate to it. But then there's also comic panels. I'm planning on doing a certain comic panel with Dr. Doom and Kang, where they're on a boat, and Doom says, Kang says, "You're homesick," and Doom says, "Moronic assumption, as I am an oh man, now the word slips my mind. Anthrope, anthrope, something. I forget the word now.
Yeah, entropy.
Right, misanthrope.
Yeah.
Misanthrope.
Misanthrope.
Which means a person who doesn't like humans. So I love that comic panel. I think it's hilarious. So I want to recreate that. That one's going to be a lot harder. And that's what I like to tell people too. When you're creating your own photo, it's a lot easier than recreating something. Somebody can have I think people have a big misconception about recreating comic panels being easy. They're not easy at all, man. I mean, the artist has a lot of free range. You could draw a character really small and make the cutouts really big. Whereas now for me, I have to make a huge cutout, put that in focus, bring my f-stop to like F11 and put the figures really far back to be able to get that look. I'm going to have to do a lot of forced perspective with that, because it's not like I have a miniature Kang or a miniature Dr. Doom. And I recently bought from Justin Customs on Instagram one of the boat. So I have a boat. So now I'm going to try the saran wrap for the first time, and I've never done water or none of that stuff. So now I got to go through that process. That's going to be a big setup for me. And that's another inspiration. So like I said, man, it comes from anything. Sometimes I'll take a real simple shot of like Wolverine screaming, and that's because I'm just having an annoyed day, and I can see my anger in Wolverine. You know, it's really, I'm lucky to have a lot of different outlets for my inspiration. Where some artists sometimes have hard times finding inspiration, I have a hard time getting my inspiration on paper, you know, because I have so much in my head to shoot, and I have so many toys, man. I could shoot for days, and it's just I don't have the time. I wish I did. I wish my life was a little more. I wish I got paid for it. If I got paid for this, you guys would see crazy things, you know. But
true,
it's not the time.
Life happens. Yeah. Life happens. That's what we call it.
Right.
Now, I know it's a two-part. I mentioned it's a two-part question. Now, what happens when when there's a creative block, or does that even happen to you? That you just get blocked out.
Like I just explained, I really don't get those. Where my creative block will come is, let's say, for example, I want to, like a Sandman shot I have in mind, and it's not going the way I want it to go. That'll be my creative block. It's like, all right, how do I get? Sometimes you need like a little thing to put underneath your Sandman, but that one thing that you put underneath will ruin the whole illusion. So it's like, what am I gonna do to get this? So I put that's where my blocks will come. And sometimes, you know, you do gotta like change the entire shot up to be able to get your thought on the picture, which I like to say my thought on the paper. You know, when you think your thoughts on paper, well, your thoughts on a photo, you know, that's really what this is.
Yeah, technically it's like a paper because it's a comic book art,
right?
That you're recreating, right? Okay. Something curious that we're curious to know. Do you have a holy grail in your collection? Like, since I'm a magician, if I go there, what would you immediately look for, if ever something that you'd find missing?
I would have to say, oh man, it's hard because I have a lot of customized stuff.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, I just showed it a little while ago. Right now, because of this head sculpt, the head sculpt that this guy Juan 12 made, I really can't, like, I would run to this figure. And this is not even close to my most expensive figure. So that's a little, you know, I would be very conflicted because do I get the one that's worth the most so I could sell it and maybe buy a few of the things back, or do I go for the one that I really love the most? But the holy grail in my collection would have to be, you know, anything Spider-Man McFarlane related. That's you know, when I grew up looking at that comic, is just that's who Spider-Man is to me. You know, I have a lot of different customized heads. Juan 12 made a few. Old custom that I have from a few of my shots. If you see any of the Black Symbiote shots, it's the McFarlane, the Toy Biz McFarlane Spider-Man customized into a Black Symbiote suit. That's another one that's a real, like, I got charged for that, like, a lot, and I'll never sell it because I can't get what I want back for that, and I love it too much. So those two are really like my big go-tos. But I'm waiting on that Mesco Keaton Batman, man. Maybe that'll be my next. That might be my next grail. As much as I love Spider-Man, Keaton Batman is what got me into, you know, all of this. I mean, 1989. I was born 87. I came to America in 1990, and the first thing they showed me was Michael Keaton's Batman and the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So those are very close to my heart. As much as I don't have the passion and love that I have for Spider-Man for them, they're very, very close to my heart. Batman, Michael Keaton Batman will be a very big argument for me for a very long time. A lot of people will argue, you know, Bale, Affleck, you know, they all look great in the movies. You know, as much as the Keaton movie has its flaws, I look at that guy and tears come to my eyes, man. It's true. That's Batman to me. Him reprising the role in this next movie is, I'm really happy about that. Really happy about
A side comment: we're both 87, but Perry Chua says you look a lot younger than me.
that. Sorry, man. Yeah, I'm an
Gee.
older guy. If you look close, I got some grays in here. You know.
But yeah, but we're both 87. I would agree, right? You look young for what you
I
for our
I can't
age.
agree with that. I think I look old, but some people tell me I look young.
Yeah.
I think you look
Um,
young, man. I think you look. I thought you was like 24. So sometimes I look at you guys. I'm like, damn, I'm the old head
oh,
watching these guys.
it's an Asian thing, I think. I don't know.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
definitely. That's what this side of the world, bro. We don't take care of ourselves enough. We get
Agree.
old quick.
Especially, well, because I have a lot of friends in New York. One of the recent ones, the amazing now is
Yes. Oh,
one of
very, very
right.
big. The Amazing was I know him personally, and The Amazing was a big help to me in terms of everything, man. He got me figures. He pointed me in the right direction
Nice.
for camera stuff. The Amazing is a cornerstone in toy
True.
photography.
Yeah.
ACBA, The Amazing, it's all its own little brand, honestly. He runs beyond the toys, but he's a lot bigger than a lot of things, and the guy is one of the most
Hmm.
genuine people I know, man. I really enjoy the guy's friendship. He goes through a lot, because that's that popularity thing. He's one of those people that it sucks that he's that popular because he has a strong personality, and
Yeah.
he has to take. I feel bad sometimes for him, man, because a lot of
Agree.
people are ready to criticize him or be jealous of like his shine, and I think that he's a really a big inspiration on how to how to carry yourself in the toy
Agree.
community.
Yeah, actually.
He's a huge inspiration. I
Uh,
can't thank him enough for a lot of things that I've been
us
successful
too.
with myself.
Nice, and a very down to earth guy as well, right?
Yes, very down to earth. Yes.
Back to the Asian thing. Akira says maybe
I
it's
don't
the
know,
rice.
man. I eat a lot of rice, dude. I eat a lot of rice. I'm Brazilian. We eat rice and
Oh
beans every
yeah,
day.
actually.
So I don't know. Maybe you guys got the real rice. We got the GMO shit. You guys got
The
the people really picking the real rice out there, the jasmine rice.
probably when you cook rice, do you also use the finger technique or the?
Absolutely.
All right, so yeah, it's
Absolutely.
legit. I mean, that's the only way to cook rice.
That's it, bro.
Uh,
That's it.
but all right. So, but anyway, going to the Grail, right? Back to that. A follow up question is: what was the most expensive toy or item, if I may
So
include props?
in
Yeah.
terms of me paying for would be probably
Yes.
that man, I got some hot toys, so I
Yep.
paid. I think I paid like $450 for that Homecoming Spider-Man, the deluxe version.
Yeah.
Man, it's bad when you can't remember what you spent the most money on, right? Sheesh. I
True.
would say, man, in my collection, the dioramas have been pretty
Mhm.
expensive. I have
The
spent
dioramas.
I remember Force Photos, Jake Leggett was selling a bunch of things at one point, and I bought like 8 dioramas off of him at once for like
Oof.
$1,100. But dude, like 8 dioramas for $1,100 is a bargain, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was a lot of
But
money. But
still a lot.
as for something that's worth, like its actual worth, I
Yep.
recently sold my Toy Fair Punisher, which was worth $1,200.
Oof.
And again, I have that Batman, the what is it, the movie Batman, the Bat Armor. I don't know if that was. I remember that was
Mm.
like 2,000 at one point. I don't know if it's still
Whoa.
there. Looking
Wow.
around, trying to see some of the stuff. Yeah, man, I don't know. I would say, I'd say about 400 or 500. But I own those pink skulls, those 3 pink skulls. So that's like 1,200 right there.
True.
Yeah,
We tend to
that's the
forget the most
problem. We
expensive.
tend to expend. Yeah, we do forget the expensive ones, and that's the problem with this. I'm not stuff right. If you wrote this stuff down, you'd probably catch a heart attack, because I mean, just by looking at my Big Bad Toy Store receipts, sometimes I'm like, damn, like I can't. I'm embarrassed. I just spent that on toys. Like what am I really doing here? But hey, man, whatever makes me happy, I don't care.
Yeah, true.
That's what I slave
Again,
away every day for.
it's our plastic crack. That's what you
That's it.
mentioned
That's
earlier.
it. It's our drug. That's our addiction.
Yeah, true. All right. Well, it's been a great time hanging out with you, but we're not
Same
gonna
goes,
let you go
Vito.
without any tips that we're gonna get from you. Hopefully, it's critic me time, so we're gonna show
Gotcha.
you photos that our friends have sent earlier. And
Awesome.
let us know what you liked and what could be improved.
Yeah.
And it actually something that we'd want to start off. I was talking to Simon Hill if we can do this also, a live critic session, so that
Yeah.
it doesn't get lost in translation. So there's a
Right.
tone behind the
Yeah, no,
words,
that's
right?
absolutely phenomenal. I mean,
Right.
if only I'm sure soon enough everything is going to be like that. With the way that
True. True.
Facebook keeps evolving, we're just going to be live at a certain point.
Agree. All right. So first photo. This was sent by Chester. But yeah, tell us what could be improved and what you like, if there's any. Yeah.
So it looks like he got real fire on there.
Yep. It is.
I don't know if that's post edited or not, but even if it is, that looks really good. My thing with these fire shots, a lot of them, and I know that for the realism, it looks real because it's very yellow around it. I would throw in a little bit of a white light just to diffuse, and I'm talking about directly, even if you have to use like a snoot, the little funnel.
Yep.
Just to hit the figure alone, even to the point where it won't hit the floor too much. You see how the floor is like dark and behind it it's like orange. That's perfect. But I'd say a little white light touching the figure would separate it from all of the yellow. And that'll make people oh, look at this dude, as opposed to what is this fire looking dude inside of this fire, So like for me, I'm not familiar with the character. And a lot of the times with Common Riders and those things, I know a Common Rider when I see one, but I don't know if it's
which one is,
or if it's the original, or if I don't. I just read shit.
It's not your thing, right?
For me, this exactly. I think they're beautiful. I think the guys that shoot them are insane, but I don't. It's not my thing. So I don't know this character. So for me to be able to really appreciate the photo or the character, better yet, I would need him to stand out just a little bit more. But that, aside from that, the photo is perfect. I mean, the posing is absolutely perfect. He doesn't have too many joints showing. I tend to try and post things so that joints don't show. You try to hide the joints as much as possible. Yeah, they're toys in the end of the day. You can't hide the joints all the time. Yeah. But I strive for that, and this photo is very, very well done.
Nice. All right. So just the lighting, I would apply that. The reason also why I'm focusing on this is so I can also apply them in my own shots.
Right.
Right. So thank you so much. So again, that's sent by Chester. A white light would improve it more.
So when I say white, because both of them, I'm sorry, let me real quick.
Yeah, sure.
The white light, because this warm light is white. So from what I noticed on my little Ulanzi cubes is that this is the 2500K. This is all 2500K. You need 8500K just on the figure of white light, just to specify a little more.
Okay, yeah. Nice. I love it. Again, Ulanzi cubes are life.
Exactly. That exact one.
All right, love it. So yeah, just to specify, cool or white light, not warm light.
Right, cool white. Right.
All right, so here's another shot. That was sent by, I forgot. So who? Sorry, but yeah. But by the way, going back, Chester says makes sense. That's why I'm thinking there's something missing in the shot. Thank you so much. I'm kind of insane. That's real fire. It is real fire.
Yeah, that's nice, man. I mean, if you had the figure that, I know a lot of people with the stacking, it's become a lot more possible to do those type of things. You don't need to put the figure there. You just have the figure there by itself. Take the photo, and then the fire around it. Take that photo separate, and then stack them together. Although I would personally do that process, and I'm not lighting nothing like that around my figures. That's a hell of a technique. I think that's tremendous. But if you lit that around your fingers, that's even crazier. And I really commend you for that. But going into this shot, the lighting is pretty solid. You can tell it's nighttime. It's blue lighting. Luckily, I have this figure because I would have said, the posing needs a little work. I would say, the heel needs to be planted better. But I own this figure, and I know how much of a piece of shit it is. So I know that this guy he actually did a really good job posing this. If I were to change anything, the leg, the not the leg that's on the ledge, the leg that's down, I would have straightened that. But again, he might have had to do that to get that actual lean. The wrist bent, it's perfect. The background's kind of boring, for lack of a better word. Sorry, I don't mean to. I'm not trying to be rude.
It's fine.
The background could use a little more, stuff. If it's Spider-Man on top of a ledge or like a rooftop, use a brick dial. And I know that that's a bigger figure. So like if you have a diorama that's not compatible, I understand that. Try and use
scaling.
The force perspective. Maybe bring it really close. Play with it, or use a screen monitor. A lot of people are great with the screen monitors. I've done it myself. It's pretty difficult to do, but it's not impossible. I mean, Akira Joe's a master at that. So, I think if you would have had like a city backdrop on this, you'd have had a crazy shot. It would have been tremendous.
Nice. All right.
Would have popped really nice.
Love it.
And also, you got the rim light. You got the rim light. You got the main light. You need a little bit of a backlight to give his you see how like the blue kind of blends with the backdrop. If you got a light behind him, it gives him like an edge, like a rimming. Even a white light. See, like the blue that he got is a nice rimming for like the ambiance, the atmosphere. But you want him to separate from the background, and a white light behind him would really help that.
Angle that properly, and you'll get that rim.
If you feel like the light is too bright, always remember that bringing your exposure to something like 1/60 or 1/30, it might look really dark. That means just blast that light on there, because it'll look like nighttime if you blast the light. It's hard to explain. It's hard to describe it. It's really dark. So like if you put a lot of light, it'll show that it's just like a street lamp, and you're not getting like atmosphere light as opposed to that. When you're shooting, like most of these guys shoot light painting style. So they're at like 1 inch or like 2 seconds, and it's too long. It's too, sometimes you need, and they'll go to 1/4 or 1/8. You got to go down to like 160. I've gone down all the way to 1/25 and really like put a lot of lights in there, and it looked dark.
I see. All right. So I think that also helps us out when it comes to the opposite side of things. When you want to see, when you want to make it feel like it's daytime, do the opposite of what you just mentioned, right?
Yeah, you could do something like, and I wouldn't say the actual. That's the thing about photography. You can't. There's no black and white. It's really a lot of gray areas. So when you're talking about the opposite, daytime shots are a challenge within themselves. My biggest advice, and I recently learned this from Michael Wisman, is let me just grab this light rope. Sorry, I dropped something.
Sure.
One of these lights goes a long, long way in lighting your sky blue backdrops. So you put your sky blue backdrop, whatever kind you have, and you put one of these on the bottom, sort of slant. So like if I'm the blue drop, right? You see, I'm slanting it towards me. Just slant it a little bit. You see, I got a lot of, I have, well, you can't really see. I have a lot of wax marks because what I'll do is I'll stick it to something so that it's not flat, because then it won't hit enough. Slant it just a little bit, and it hits the backdrop from the bottom, and you won't have shadows. You'll get a fully even lit backdrop. Sometimes you put the lights on the sides, you'll get a glare. The middle of the backdrop won't be as bright as the sides. That's really annoying. But overall, the exposure, you will have to obviously bring it up, because there's no way to shoot at 160 and get a sky blue backdrop. There's no way. You would have to have it at like 1/4. I mean, you could do a light paint as well. I mean, Akira Joe does something.
Got it. Yeah.
Like, the light painting might be the best way. It's just a matter of angling it. Like when I paint with the light, sometimes you'll get that whole that whole streak, that whole glare.
True.
You know, and it doesn't look good. So you kind of gotta play with the angles. Sometimes you gotta stand up and do something. Sometimes you gotta improvise. Everything in this stuff is improvising, and that's why even sharing your own process sometimes is really hard. I've been very vocal to my admin team to putting out V-sides, videos of how things are done, because a lot of the times the C-side really can't do the justice that people need. Because even so, like, for me, I could take a C-side, but I'm always holding a light, like
on top,
shining it somewhere. So what am I going to do? Take a picture of the C-side of me I try to, but there's really no way. So a video really, you show that, then you can put that light down and show the rest. Then you can show how you take the picture. It's a process. Something I did want to mention too is we want to, by giving constructive feedback, I want, and what the grind's goal is to inspire people to give feedback as well. You giving that girl, or I'm not sure, I'm sorry, MJ sounded like a girl. I don't know if it's a girl or not. If it's not, I'm sorry. MJ, the one that you've been giving feedback to, this is what we want, man. We want people giving other people feedback. I don't want to be the only guy giving feedback. For me, especially in the grind right now, I've been able to take a step back and let everybody do their own thing. And it works like a clock, like the cogs work themselves. And that's the beauty of this whole hobby is we have the capacity to understand that everybody has good intentions, and we just want to see everybody grow. It's not necessarily that you want people to do what you're doing or to have your style or look like you, or ACBA wants people to have the pictures to look exactly like ACBA. No, but we want to help you grow big time. And we definitely can. Everybody can. It's not just us.
And I love it that you created a community at least that has its own life, right?
Right. That pumps itself. Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah. So back to this. Going back here, you did mention about rim lighting for separation and a more interesting background, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
again,
that can be accomplished.
like I said, I can pick a shot apart sometimes. So I'm not trying to be super, critique. I see things that could be very much improved, and the shot has a lot of potential already, So if people apply even more, they could start really popping off and becoming a lot more popular. Get endorsed.
I get you. And actually, that's also that's something that our friends are looking forward to tonight, because they have sent this because they know that you are gonna pick this one apart, not just apart, but you know what I mean, right?
They know that I'm a little bit more vocal. I get it.
MJ, I don't know what the smiley is all about. Got me inspired today. Thank you so much, Steven. Going here is another shot. I'm not sure if let us know on the comment section if you're still there, Arnold, if the rain is tangible, but I think it is, right? I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, and I'm sure it is to an extent. Like I said, these photo stacking shots, I think it's become very trendy. So, and I get it, man. It's hard to emulate this stuff, and then get the lighting on your figures as well. If it's not tangible, regardless, a lot of my problems with these rain shots are you got rain on the top, but you have nothing on the bottom, and a lot of the times too, although the shield is wet, and maybe I got to zoom in a little. Hold on. It just looks like the figures don't. Yeah, I can see there is a little bit of water on the figures, but mainly, you want to get it to where you got a mist on the water, and if you see a big drop, for example, right above Spider-Man's head, there's like kind of a big drop. To us, that's not a big drop. That's a little drop, but to the figure, I mean, in what world is there going to be a drop this big,
Yeah.
So it's like
in relation to the ratio.
And again, this is me like really looking into things like very analytically. The poses are correct, the poses are and the motion to the shot is very inspiring. Stan Lee covering him, not covering himself, kind of getting wet, but covering Spider-Man because he seems sad. The posing is pretty solid, although I don't see where they are. Like if he's sitting on a curb, again, it's very dark. in that very section where there's no rain. So it's very hard to analyze whether or not he's sitting on like a curb. And if I'm looking correctly, it looks like Stan Lee got his knee on a curb. So yeah, he is on a curb. So the pose is right. The pose is good on both of them. But again, this whole rain thing on the bottom, not being too, you want to really like get that mist going. I've never really taken I haven't taken one of these shots where you do the rain mist and all that. And I know it's complicated, but I think the best example that I've seen, and I'd like to say Simon Hill, but recently Casey Kal-El Evans did Thor pulling, from the movie where he's in that scene where he's about to pull it out of the dirt. That looked crazy. The rain was literally misty everywhere. Right. And I figured it was stacked. So like if you're gonna stack it, try and remember to get one of the photos that has more on the bottom. Like, and again, this is something that this is out of my own critiquing range because I don't stack, so I don't know the limitations of that. But when you're spraying, I see you got the top part. If you could get a spray where it's more on the bottom, and then also even put it in front. I know that you want to keep the figures as clear as possible, but it's raining. They're not supposed to be clear. So put some of that rain in front of them. A lot of the problems with these edited rain shots is that the rain is always behind them. So what? It doesn't rain in front of these guys? You know what I'm saying? That's really what, for me, what doesn't work with some of the editing and why tangible is what I prefer is because in a tangible display, you can't control the water while it's being sprayed. I think Thomas Villacorta, and he's from, I believe, Indonesia or the Philippines. I'm not sure.
I think from the Philippines, Thomas Villacorta. I believe
it is the Philippines. He did one, and he did a video of it. And even for him, when he did it tangibly, he didn't quite get it underneath. And that might even make some people think, because when you spray it behind, you want to spray it all over, man. You got to spray it all over because it's raining. It doesn't not rain in front of them just because, so the rain didn't the rain didn't fall in front of them so you could take this picture. So for me, it doesn't look as realistic. But in terms of what people are looking for in toy photos today, this is it. This is perfect in terms of that.
I think this is the one that you mentioned. Is it?
It's one of them. And this one he did better. The one that I'm mentioning, I believe, might have been a Thanos, but he did a few. This one right here actually looks more like snow, in my opinion. And the reason why is because even now his mist, and it is on a mist, and he should do it that way. But now you see that middle part right there? There's just too much. So now it looks like a snowstorm as opposed to a rainstorm. And his white light makes it too abundant. So it looks like snow as opposed to rain. That's why I say with the stacking, it looks a lot more like rain because they're able to spray once, get that shot with the light hitting it from behind, and then put it on. Whereas right here, you got to light the figure, light behind the figure, and light the rain. So it's a lot harder, It's a lot harder to pull this off tangibly and to get that bottom mist part. Again, I don't want to get lost in translation again. I'm not saying that the other shot was wrong and that this one's better. What I'm saying is that the other one, it's much more abundant, and because of that, you have a lot more water on the bottom of the figure.
That's the point that you're driving.
Splashes on the figure. If you look at the photo, they have. If you're gonna edit those little splashes, you got to edit that on the floor too, because if the rain is hitting them like that, the rain is hitting the floor like that.
Hitting the floor as well.
Right.
Nice.
And that's the problem with editing, in my opinion, is that you only have but so much attention to detail. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you'll miss things that make it look like it's edited. To me. Yeah. But again, this is my eye versus somebody else's eye. This is true. This shot is tremendous, and the message behind it is great. But overall, I would put more garbage cans behind them, make it more flesh out the environment more. That's what's missing to me in this shot is the fleshed out environment, the pose, the lighting, the photography, everything in that aspect. The framing is beautiful, but the surroundings are really lacking.
I love it. So at least, well, not only I think Arnold is learning, we also are. These are really great tips that we can carry on our future shots.
Good.
And
I'm
yeah,
glad. I'm glad. Like I sasaid, if you're editing stuff, the reason why I say, if you're editing, your posing got to be
mm,
perfect, man. You're posing.
uh,
You're, because now and I'm not saying that it's bad, or a lot of people you take this word the wrong way, but if you're taking shortcuts, because that's how I view editing, when
uh,
you're doing something tangibly, it's the long way. You're
yep.
doing things the
Mm-hmm.
long way to be able to make it look
Mm,
real, right? Whereas when you're editing something, you're taking somewhat of a shortcut, but you're still
mm,
achieving that same goal. So
mm.
if you're
True.
gonna take those shortcuts, your posing can't be wrong. And that's why that last photo was perfect. His posing was off the hook, the
Yep.
lighting was off the hook, everything looks great. So as a person who edits, this looks great. But if your posing is off, a lot of people, and I'm not trying to knock the guy, but Johnny Woo, a lot of people love his work, and I'll say his lighting is great, but he edits, so of course his lighting is great. Sometimes his poses could use a lot of work, and a lot of people that aren't as famous, in my opinion, should be more famous. But that's
Sure.
and I'm not trying to take the credit away from the guy. He's done a lot of hard work to
He's
get
done a
to
lot.
where he
Yep.
is too. But like I said, posing is what sells the entire story. That shot, that last shot that we did, the posing was out of this world. I mean, you have to really nitpick the shot to be able to look for something to critique at that point, because the
Got it.
posing and the lighting is so great.
Nice. So posing is your bare minimum, if we are to say,
It's
right?
the foundation. It's the
It's a
foundation.
foundation. Akira says recipe simple, strong light from behind, and a little tip. Time when the first drop hits your dio, your shutter hits. Ah, so at least this is when you're doing the tangible stuff, right?
Right.
Or tangible rain. Had a lot of practice with these rains and snows. You need a lot of
Yeah,
patience and a lot
Akira
of
is somebody, I'm
lights.
sorry I didn't mention him, but Akira is somebody
Sure.
that people should definitely be looking at his work if they want to do like tangible rain setups and all that. The guy, and I know him,
Yep.
man, he takes 50,000 shots himself. He's one of those guys.
Agree.
If he don't like the
Yeah.
shot, he won't post it.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing that he mentioned in our
Right.
live session, and also he has, having said that, he still has a few more months of time because he's away from his studio
I
right
know
now.
his situation. I feel so bad for the guy. He needs the camera. I'm ready to send the guy some BS camera or whatever.
Here, take this.
Yeah, here, take the camera. He got a lens out there, so yeah, take the camera,
True.
man.
I'm nearer than to him, so I
Right. Send him
probably
something, man. Let this guy shoot something.
will do. Avi says, to
Make it
put it
make
simply,
sense.
make it make
Exactly.
sense. Yeah,
That's it.
and posing is half the battle. All right,
It
for our
is.
last shot, this was sent by Paulo Rodriguez talking about light painting. So this is
Oh, nice.
one of his specialty. Here
Right.
we go.
So now for me, the posing on this is really, it's lacking. And the reason why,
It's
and I
lacking.
can tell you, I know
Sure.
that I'm pretty sure he edited some stands out. And this is going back to what I was saying before.
Mhm.
A lot of the guys, when they edit things, what I tend to notice is that the posing ends up it looks a little lazy. And again,
Mhm.
it's for lack of better words. I'm not trying to say you were lazy doing it,
Mhm.
but look at Captain America.
Doing
The
this
best
work.
the best advice anyone ever gave me about posing: do
Yep.
the pose yourself. And if you're not comfortable, chances are the pose doesn't look good. So
Mhm.
like for example, here with the Hulk, his left foot, viewer right, it's not planted enough. Even the other
Mhm.
foot is kind of off. His pose isn't the worst. The Hulk pose isn't the worst,
Mhm.
but I would have him maybe looking at Captain America. Iron Man
Mhm.
looks a little wonky. And what I mean by wonky is like he's kind of like this, like his leg, that leg sticking out right there. Just I feel like he
Mhm.
did that on purpose because he wanted to light that effect up and show that part off. A lot of times
Mhm.
these guys that edit, they'll do that. They want to show something else off, and then they'll make something look a little off because they want to show something else off. I think it's
I
redundant
see.
at that point. You could have put his leg straight. Like he
Mhm.
came, like where did he fly in from? If he flew in from the bottom, why is that other leg kind of looking like he flew in from the bottom, from the top? If you look
Mhm.
behind the Hulk's arm, his foot sticks out a little bit. So, and then what's he really like? You see the hands are kind of like open. What is he doing? Is he like grabbing Hulk? Is he, try to put the hand underneath his neck and actually have him in like a gripping position, and then put the neck articulation down. Even if it's not holding it, it'll sell the illusion that it's actually holding it. Now, going into my biggest gripe in the photo, which can also be Iron Man is balancing on Hulk. That's also, and like I said, man, again, I'm not saying, I know for a fact it's edited, but the balance there, I would imagine if it is balancing, then that leg, you needed to do that. At that point, in my opinion, you take him off and you put him on a regular ACBA stand, one of these metal stands, and you put him in a different pose to where he's like charging the Hulk. Again, I'm not trying to change your whole creative process and tell you to change the entire photo, because at that point your focus has to change, everything has to change for you to do that. But in my opinion, the pose just doesn't, it's not selling for me for Iron Man. And then my biggest gripe was actually Captain America's pose. First and foremost, I would say the legs need to be swapped. Like the left leg should have been up as opposed to the right leg.
Okay.
The light beam that you have there looks cool, but it doesn't really go with the so like if you had the Yamaguchi and look, again, this is just a nitpick on my own, like the Mezco figure doesn't look right as because I see you're going for that Marvel versus Capcom look. And for me, the Yamaguchi Captain America would have looked better with that. Again, for me, I don't know if that looks like the Mezco Iron Man, which looks okay with this Captain America, but the figure arts Hulk kind of throws it off for me as well. A lot of the times in my photos, I'll try and keep the lines the same, because this Mezco Captain America really doesn't look right with this Hulk, as opposed to, and if you had the classic Cap, I know because I've owned this modern Cap, and the baggy clothes just doesn't sit right with the tight Hulk pants, And again, these are big nitpicks of mine, but they're not something that really can change the photo much. If these are the action figures you're working with, this is it, But going back to Captain America's pose, the pose can really use a lot of work. I see he's doing a charging star. If you have a Marvel Legends, man, I really would swap it out for the Marvel Legends one, because you'd have a lot more range to do this shot. This shot, it looks like he was looking at an inspiration and trying to mimic that inspiration, and just the figures just don't have the range to do it. That's what this looks like to me. True. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry. But overall, for me, there's a lot to work on this photo, and overall, in my opinion, you could swap out that Captain America for something more posable. Let me show,
Let me just show the inspiration. I think this is the one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that Marvel versus Capcom. And how in the world are you going to get Captain America, that Mezco Captain America, in that pose?
All right.
This is one of those examples where if this was my idea, I would have scrapped it. Like I would have scrapped the Mezco, not the idea, using the Mezco. I would have scrapped, and I would have had to look. This would have been one of my mental blocks, like a mental block for me. This would have been a good example of a block for me if I really wanted to use this Captain America, and I really couldn't because it just doesn't look right with the photo. I'd have to go out and look for a better Captain America. That would be a block for me.
Yeah, and he says, thanks, inspired by the charging star, it's hard to pose Mezcos. Yeah,
it really the limitation is. Especially this Mezco. I know the ankles, man. There's no ankle pivot whatsoever. So, like, you did the best you could on that, for sure. I know that.
Yeah, so that's why instead, if it were you, Diego, you're gonna use a different figure.
Legends. Yeah, Marvel Legends. I'll stick with that. Iron Man's perfect. The figure arts Hulk is fine, but that Captain America, I would have went with the Legends one. That Captain America is good for vanilla posing, man. He's not really a figure that you're. There's figures out there that they're not meant for ACBA, man. I gotta say.
Agree.
Some of the Marvel Mezco stuff, they're not good, man. They're not. The Mezco Gomez stuff, they're very, the tailoring is perfect. Whereas the Marvel stuff, like this Captain America, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's a very good Captain America for posing. dynamically.
Agree.
I would say he's much better. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said, Brian. Brian said the Revo cap, which is the
Revo, yeah.
yeah, the Revoltech cap, which is the
Yeah.
it's the Yamaguchi. It looks like
True.
the video game version.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. Those have been very helpful in our future shots. Not
Anytime.
only theirs, at least in mine as well.
Absolutely.
I've learned a lot. I know that I'm gonna rewatch this because there are a lot of comments, but a few of them stood out to me. Um, I'll post that later. I'll tag you in that.
No problem.
Because I want to always emphasize or underline the quote of the day, but I might be wrong if that would be the last, because I'm still gonna ask you any tips or tips, tricks for beginners or advanced or intermediate geeks, toy photographers, or just getting into the hobby, or at least already into the hobby. Let us know your
Absolutely.
thoughts. Yeah.
My biggest advice to from what you see, a lot of the times people are very excited to post. Take your time, man. We're gonna be here. We're not going anywhere. Take your time. Look at C-sides. When I say C-sides, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
For the non-ACBA guys, we call it a C-side. It's your behind the scenes. When you're on the ACBA page, or even a lot of Instagram artists now, they share their processes as well. Look at their behind the scenes stuff. It's the best advice I can honestly give for any beginner. Pose your figures, play with them. Don't be scared. If you got an expensive figure, don't play with that one. Play with the one that doesn't matter. Grab a figure that doesn't matter. One of these Black Series figures, they don't break at all. Grab a figure. Matthew Charles, one of my big friends. This guy was DC Love. I know you've heard that. And he used the worst figures ever, but he loves DC, so he stuck with it. Now he'll pose a Marvel figure, and the posing is out of this world because he used to pose the worst figures ever, and now he has easy to pose figures. I mean, it's just, pose your figures, man. Do the poses yourself. When you're running, do you put your left leg and your left arm in front with you? No, you put your right leg and your left leg out. Do you run with your legs super bent? No, you're kind of leaning a little bit. Do the poses yourself. That's the best advice for posing I could give you. And for lighting, lighting comes with you. It just comes with time. That's just not. That's not everybody wants to learn lighting, and it's not really something you learn. It's something that you kind of have a common sense about. There's one sun on this planet. So how you gonna have two, warm lights shining on sun? It's just, there's just certain things. But the best advice I could give is do the poses yourself and look at behind the scenes. A lot of behind the scenes before you do anything. Buy dioramas and props everywhere you can, and flesh your scenes out.
I love it. Solid advice. And we expected nothing less, actually, from Diego Carlo. You have a great eye when it comes to these things, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, your insights, and how you improve, how you've gone from a year of just observing ACBA to now becoming one of the people that most of us would look up to. And thank you for that.
Appreciate that. That's humbling. I wouldn't even have imagined I'd ever be here like this. It's a humbling experience. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And you've fired up.
Thank you.
Yeah, who stayed up late? It's already 11:44 p.m. here in the Philippines. In Akira, it's already 2 hours, so it's already 2.
Right. Sorry, guys. I talked a lot.
That's fine. Well, actually, we learned a lot. That's what you can see on the comments. A lot of takeaways and a great interview and a very awesome episode. Especially for Perry Chua's fighting to stay awake right now.
Thank you, Perry.
Thank you. So anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in. And tomorrow, we have Lloyd Hondo, who is gonna join us. He's a toy customizer, so he's gonna show his work.
I know him. He's a tremendous artist.
Nice. Tomorrow, see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's 7 a.m. New York time, but 7 p.m. here in the Philippines. So later at 7 p.m. we're gonna have that episode
after show.
Yeah. So hashtag GeekClicks replay if you're gonna watch this on replay. So everyone, thank you so much. And stay safe, stay dry. I don't know, wherever you are. We wish you well, and keep on shooting, keep on collecting. This is Chris Lina with the Diego Carlo. Yeah, there.
On this side.
On this side. Yeah. So yeah. See you guys next time. Stay tuned for more geeky goodness here on GeekClicks.
Thanks for
Bye, guys.
supporting, guys. Have a good one.